The raccoon is an animal that has become one of the most fascinating and recognizable creatures in North America, both for its physical traits and for the way it has adapted to coexist alongside humans. To understand the history of raccoons, one has to go back far into the evolutionary past. The raccoon, known scientifically as Procyon lotor, belongs to the family Procyonidae, which includes coatis and kinkajous. Fossil records suggest that the lineage of raccoons can be traced back millions of years to small, omnivorous mammals that roamed the forests of North America during the Miocene epoch. These early ancestors were generalists, animals that could eat a wide variety of foods and survive in different environments, which is one of the key reasons raccoons as we know them today have been so successful. Over time, they evolved into the masked, dexterous animals that we are familiar with, adapting remarkably well to both wild and urban environments. The earliest interactions between raccoons and humans date back to indigenous cultures of North America. Native American tribes not only hunted raccoons for food, but also admired their resourcefulness and cleverness. In many native traditions, raccoons appear in mythology as trickster figures, beings who use cunning and adaptability to outwit others. They were often seen as symbols of curiosity, survival, and transformation. Archaeological evidence shows that raccoons were part of the diet of several tribes, and their pelts were used for warmth and decoration. The native knowledge of raccoon habits, its nocturnal nature, its ability to use its paws almost like hands, and its tendency to wash food in water before eating it, contributed to the cultural fascination surrounding the animal. When European settlers arrived in North America, they too quickly became familiar with raccoons. Early colonists noticed the animal's intelligence and its tendency to raid food supplies, making it both a nuisance and a source of valuable fur. The fur trade in the 17th and 18th centuries elevated raccoon pelts to a place of economic importance. Their fur was soft, warm, and durable, making it desirable for hats, coats, and linings. During the height of the fur trade, millions of raccoons were trapped and traded, and their pelts traveled across the Atlantic to markets in Europe. The raccoon skin cap, in particular, became iconic in American history. Figures like Davy Crockett and other frontiersmen popularized the image of the rugged explorer with a raccoon cap, even though Crockett himself preferred other types of hats. Nonetheless, the association stuck, embedding the raccoon deeply in the folklore of early America. As America expanded westward, raccoons were present in nearly every environment settlers encountered. Their range covered much of North and Central America, from forests and wetlands to plains and mountains. Raccoons thrived in these varied environments because of their omnivorous diet and their incredible ability to adapt to human encroachment. They ate fruits, nuts, insects, small animals, and human scraps when available. Their adaptability allowed them to survive in environments where other species declined, making them one of the most resilient mammals in North America. By the 19th century, raccoons had become a staple of rural American life. Farmers and hunters often saw them as pests because of their habit of raiding cornfields and chicken coops. Raccoon hunting also developed into a popular sport, especially in the southern United States. The use of dogs to track and tree raccoons became a traditional practice, and coonhounds were bred specifically for this purpose. Nighttime hunts, where dogs would chase raccoons up trees and hunters would follow with lanterns, became as much a social activity as a form of pest control. This practice left a lasting cultural imprint, reflected in music, folklore, and literature of the American South. The raccoon's reputation grew during the early 20th century. It transitioned from being primarily a source of fur and hunting to an animal of widespread cultural fascination. The 1920s saw an unusual moment in raccoon history when raccoons were briefly popularized as exotic pets. One of the most famous examples was Rebecca, the pet raccoon of U.S. President Calvin Coolidge. His wife, Grace Coolidge, adored the animal and often walked it on the White House lawn. Newspapers covered this peculiar story, and the raccoon became a symbol of charm and eccentricity. Around the same time, raccoon coats became a fashionable item among college students. Photographs from the Jazz Age show groups of young men and women wearing long raccoon coats as symbols of wealth and style, further embedding the animal into American pop culture. The relationship between raccoons and humans shifted again as urbanization expanded in the 20th century. As cities grew and spread into natural habitats, raccoons adapted quickly. Unlike many animals that retreated when humans developed land, raccoons discovered that urban areas provided abundant food sources. Garbage cans, dumpsters, pet food bowls, and even gardens became their new hunting grounds. Their clever paws allowed them to open latches, pry lids, and manipulate objects, earning them a reputation as mischievous burglars of the animal kingdom. Stories of raccoons breaking into attics, climbing into houses through chimneys, and raiding garbage cans became increasingly common. Instead of disappearing from human landscapes, raccoons became more visible, thriving in environments most wild animals could not. Scientific studies in the mid-20th century began to highlight just how intelligent raccoons were. Experiments showed that raccoons had extraordinary problem-solving skills. They could remember solutions to puzzles for years, manipulate locks, and learn through observation. This intelligence gave them an almost uncanny ability to outsmart attempts to keep them out of human spaces. Their signature behavior of dipping or washing food in water, while not always necessary for survival, further fueled human fascination. Zoologists explain that raccoons have extremely sensitive front paws with a heightened sense of touch that is enhanced when wet, which may explain this unique behavior. The cultural image of the raccoon as a clever, masked trickster grew stronger during the 20th century. Its distinctive black mask around the eyes gave it an almost bandit-like persona, an image that resonated with stories of cunning and thievery. This reputation only became more ingrained as raccoons became stars in cartoons, books, and films. They appeared as both lovable and troublesome characters, reflecting the dual nature of how people viewed them, both as pests and as fascinating creatures. In recent decades, raccoons have become viral sensations on social media, with videos of their antics circulating widely. Their human-like hands, expressive faces, and bold curiosity make them natural stars in the age of internet culture. Yet, raccoons have not been free from challenges. They are carriers of certain diseases, such as rabies and raccoon roundworm, which make interactions with humans potentially dangerous. Wildlife agencies often caution against feeding or domesticating raccoons, as their adaptability and closeness to humans can lead to conflict. Still, raccoons persist in both rural and urban America, increasing in population in many areas due to the steady food sources provided by human settlements. The history of raccoons is not limited to North America. While they are native to the Americas, raccoons were introduced to parts of Europe and Asia during the 20th century. In Germany, for instance, raccoons were released into the wild in the 1930s and quickly established thriving populations. Today, they are considered an invasive species in parts of Europe, where they have spread rapidly and often disrupt local ecosystems. Their ability to thrive almost anywhere, from forests to bustling cities, has made them both admired and criticized globally. In modern America, raccoons have taken on a symbolic role that transcends their biological existence. They embody adaptability, cleverness, and survival. They are seen as urban survivors, animals that mirror the resourcefulness humans themselves often celebrate. They have also become part of the humorous side of internet culture, where their antics, such as stealing food, clumsily trying to reach objects, or looking guilty after knocking over a trash can, make them endlessly shareable. In many ways, raccoons reflect a unique intersection between nature and human society. They are wild creatures that live right alongside us, neither domesticated nor fully distant. From their ancient evolutionary origins to their present role as urban tricksters and cultural icons, raccoons have carved a unique place in the history of animals in America. They have been food, fur, fashion, pets, pests, and internet stars. They are as much a part of the forests and rivers as they are of the alleys and backyards of American cities. Their story is one of resilience and intelligence, a reminder of how some creatures not only survive, but thrive in the face of human change. While humans have tried to tame, trap, and contain them, raccoons have continually found ways to adapt, proving that their history is far from finished.